Coach, and then open up the questions.
Okay, it's that time again this year. You know, it's amazing. You know, October 15th used to signal when basketball practice was getting started, and as a coach, your body you start getting kind of antsy. You don't sleep at night, and it's amazing how you adjust over the years. Over the last few years, now we're 42 days out. You actually can start practice and have 30 days of practice, and even last week, well, just the nerves start going. You start waking up at 4 in the morning, getting ready to head to conditioning during that time. And so we started practice actually yesterday. We've already had 3 workouts in 2 days. We practiced yesterday at 6, went for about an hour and 20 minutes, 15 minutes. Doing a lot of teaching in the morning. Then we came back in the afternoon and we really got after it. Went for about 2 hours and 20 minutes. And of course, again, the same regiment the next day. We come out, and this morning we had a really good workout. So I like this team right now. I may not be saying that in another couple of months, but I like them right now. They're working extremely hard. The veteran guys from last year, they're dialed in. We talk about being dialed in and take it to the next level. As last time I visited with you guys, we talked about, taking that next step. Obviously having a chance to play against North Carolina in the championship game. You're up 5 with 3 minutes to go. It still resonates with me. And so now we're talking about taking it to that next level. So this year, we want to be in those periods and be in position, and now find a way to finish. And with having 5 seniors coming back, 7 guys that have played. That includes CJ and Adriel Bailey. I expect those guys to come back. And so when you talk about year 7, let's improve. Let's improve upon what we've done. We won 26 games last year. Again, I thought this team got better as the season went on. And contrary to what a lot of people, talk about the team, I thought our team was a pretty good defensive team. I mean, we, different teams each year it's kind of different because there are some teams you can't extend your defense, you can create the turnover, you can create the chaos. But then there are some teams, you're not married to one system, you're married to winning. And so last year we saw a team that played multiple defenses, and a lot of us in the half court. And that's where, I think our defense is at its best in the half court. So if we didn't extend it, that don't mean we didn't play good defense. I think if you can look at the stats, I think we averaged more points than the other opponents, 79 to 73. So now I want to get more defensive with this team that we do have coming in this year. And why I say that, because we have some guys that have been through the wars. You think about Anton and Trey Thompson. Those guys have been on teams that have won 26 and 27 games. I kind of look over as I've been a head coach, the most wins I had as a head coach was 31. That was an Elite 8 run. And so when you talk about guys that have been a part of, 26 and 27, that's probably my second and third highest win total as a head coach. And that's in the SEC. And we had a really good schedule last year. So that tells me, guess what? We're tracking, we're building a culture, a winning culture, and those guys have been a part of it. They also were a part of the team that went 16-16. So let's see as we move forward into to this year, this team finds its own identity. And with those guys that are returning, I'm expecting some really big things out of them. Leadership is going to be really big. Leadership on this basketball team. So you're talking about Jalen Barford, Daryl Macon, 2 guys who put their names in the draft and obviously made the right decision, I think, in coming back to continue the development stage. That was their first year last year, and I thought they started picking up there down the stretch, and it really made a big difference in our basketball team with the players that we had last year. Then you look at a guy like Trey Thompson. His continued development is going to be important. He's got to be a staple for us, whether it be on the offensive end and defensively as well, and being one of those vocal leaders for our basketball team. Anton, he's had some adversity, and I think it's going to be a great story when he finishes. I really, really believe it. And you look at his high school career, he was a winner. The guy was a winner, and he had some adversity here. And I think when it's all said and done, I think, when he looks back on his life, there were some pivotal moments that took place in his life that, you know what, I got to become a man. I got to step up. I got to take ownership. And I think this year, when you guys get a chance to see him out there, you'll see what I'm talking about. I mean, he's probably lost about 15 pounds. I mean, he's probably down to 180, 85, something like that. I mean, his body is shaped up. Hell, he looked like he's quicker now, a little quicker. When he was a little stocky little dude, hell, I was quicker than him. So, but now, he's shedded, and tell you what, he's playing at a pretty high level right now. Dustin Thomas, a fifth-year guy, he's got to be able to help our basketball team. He's been here now. This is his third year. He's only played 2.5, but this is going to be his third year playing. He played a year and a half, so now he get a chance to hopefully really impact this basketball team, and that's going to be important. I think our guard play is probably our strength right now. And when you talk about with CJ, I think it's his time to step in that role. We lost some really good players in Dusty, Moses, and Manuel. Probably about 40% of our scoring, a couple of our leading rebounders. And so now we got to have those guys to really step up and be productive. Adriel Bailey played a lot last year. So those guys along with the newcomers. And there's no pressure. Daniel is not the savior for our program. I said this about Bobby when he first came. Daniel come in and go at his own pace. That's going to be the big key. That's why you got seniors, you got other guys on your basketball team. And therefore, he can come in and go at his own pace. And trust me, if it's any indication of what's taking place throughout the summer and what's taking place in practice right now, he will impact our team. Size, athletic ability, he's a sponge, just trying to get better at protecting the rim, run the floor like a guard. I mean, athletic. I mean, it's amazing. A guy to be that size, 6'11", just jumps out the gym, and he just wants to get better and better. Darius Hall will be a glue guy for our basketball team, and of course Gabe, someone who we signed late. He's really coming on. And the young man I'm excited about next year will be Jalen Harris. I think him coming in this year, I think was so big for our basketball team. Not only to help push Barford, push Macon, but also sets the stage up for next year as well. So again, you can just tell I'm really super excited about this basketball team. Obviously, you guys got the notice yesterday about Khalil, and the note says it. I can't speak on it much. I think we sent out a statement about it, and that's where it is right now. And the doctors are optimistic that hopefully that condition will get better, and we can get him back on a plan. He's still doing some things with us, but he can't go into the full contact, the full scale. So because of HIPAA, I cannot talk on that subject there. Now, also with Orlando Cook, as far as him, he's still suspended from our team. And we're going to let the law take its course, and then we'll go from there. And I'll be able to make my decision on what takes place. So, again, as we get into this year here, again, I'm excited about it. I really, really am. This is year 7 for me, and I'm still want to win a championship. That's who I am. And every year, you hear me say that, and that is. And we're knocking on the door. And we just got to keep going forward and keep getting better. And this team here will be challenged early on because the schedule, you guys have seen it. It is a dynamite schedule. But it's a tremendous opportunity for this team, and this team I think, will be up to task to play a schedule like that.
If you guys want to raise your hand, we'll get a mic to you. Certainly.
How nice is it, I guess, to have that to say now? 2 NCAA tournaments out of the last 3 years. Then, do you feel like you guys have this thing fully up and running right now?
Oh, I really do. I think the culture is set. The culture is set for winning. I think you can. You sense it. I made a statement at the banquet. It just feels right. It just feels right. Even from my standpoint, I just feel we get the right kids in here. I think our kids are saying the right things. They're doing the right things. You got 18 kids graduating in the last 4 years. I mean, I'm talking about other guys coming back to graduate. It wasn't that popular for guys to come back and get their degrees, but we got guys that are coming back. And those guys, as they come back, guess what they're doing? They're dropping a little wisdom on those guys. Lee Mayberry, we're going to miss him. I mean, for what he stood for. These guys are the epitome of what we're trying to do here at Arkansas. And I just think you look at guys, we've always had guys that, when I think about Corey Beck, he wasn't a highly touted kid. All he did help us win a national championship. When I look at Moses, when he came in here, he came in here with Bobby, and everybody looked at him as being maybe a project. But he left here as a 1,000-point scorer. One or two players to, I think, 500 rebounds and block shots with Oliver Miller. That's pretty strong. I mean, Dusty Hannes. He comes in, man, and this guy's a 1,000-point scorer. He probably averaged 7 points at Tech. I don't even think he averaged that. But look what is taking place. And obviously now you're starting to put some pieces together. And I think with this team here, with the senior leadership, with the guard play that we have, now the thing to me is just our forwards have got to continue to develop, and those guys have. And the young guys come in, kind of step in and impart, what they're going to bring. I really like this basketball team. You hear me say that every year, but I really, really like this team here because, like I said, they're doing the right things on and off the floor.
Yeah. Mike, what's your reaction to the FBI probe into college basketball? And some of the assistant coaches have been arrested. And have you guys heard anything from the FBI? I know you've had your guys there a long time. How confident are you that you guys do things the right way and that Arkansas would never get caught up in something like this?
Bob, you asked right at it. You asked the question, did you, huh? I mean, have you talked to him? Have I talked? No, I have not talked to him, and I hopefully don't intend to talk to him. One of the things we've always been in compliance. I stated from day one, even as an assistant coach, we're going to do things the right way. We're going to go out and recruit the kids and hopefully talk with the kids, that the people that are influential with the kids in terms of the parents, the coaches, and things of that nature, always done it the right way. It's kind of stunning, really, when you see what is taking place, and it's not a good look for college basketball. But I don't think it's a statement for the entire college basketball. I don't think all coaches or programs of that nature there. But I think it's no question about it. It's a shot, at college basketball for all the things that coaches do. There's some great coaches out there with great programs that do things the right way. And but I don't as I'm hearing what you guys are hearing. To be honest with you, okay, I haven't seen anything. I don't see no evidence or anything like that there. So, but it's out there. So for me to try to step in and answer questions about that, I can't. But evidently there's something out there, and I'm sure the FBI, the investigators they're going to get to the bottom of it, and it could be far-reaching in a lot of different places. But the thing I'm proud of, that I've surrounded myself with people who see the vision I have. When you talk about here at Arkansas, we do it the right way, and I think across the country people know that. And you know what? We may not get some kids because of that. But to me, it's I can go to sleep at night. I can go to sleep at night.
How bad do you think it is out there? Are there things you know about, but you just say, well, I'm not going to turn school X in because that's just not?
No, Bob, I haven't seen anything. Like I said, I don't see any evidence of it, so I can't answer that question there. That's going to be up to the FBI as they look into it. But again, all I can say is I know what takes place here, and I'm proud of what we do.
I heard like Mark Fox, I think, addresses some other coaches that, if you run a clean program, this is actually a good thing because maybe it'll level the playing field for schools that aren't doing it the right way. Do you feel like that?
Well, the only thing is, obviously you want to see it clean up, but you hate to see, individuals, and you have to see programs, people that are, you look at your headlines here and there, and I just don't think it's a statement of college basketball in entirety. You feel for those guys because, coaches, with the exception of what you just talked about, they impact these kids' lives. There's a lot of great stories that come out of kids coming from different family situations and going out and becoming all they can be, and so it's just unfortunate. So, but if it'll clean it up, then it needs it.
kind of what does it say that this is way beyond the NCAA, that you've got the FBI involved in this rather than, just the government?
What does it say?
Yeah.
It's serious. It's serious. Any other questions?
Mike, you said Khalil, was able to do some things with you. Like, what sort of stuff is he able to do, and kind of what's his mindset? I'm sure he's all excited to come here and play for you guys. And now he's facing.
He's done some conditioning stuff. He's done shooting. He's right there. There's the skeleton, all the different things that we do each and every day. He's at practice every day, so he's working, and just hopefully, at some point in time, the doctor says, hey, you're clear. So no, he's involved in all the study sessions, anything we're doing. Yeah.
Just how's he handling it? I'm obviously disappointed.
Early on, he wasn't able to do a whole lot, but then once he got a chance to come out and start working, doing individual workouts and just being around the guys and shooting, early on he was like over there running the clock, or that's what he was doing. And so, but now he's more involved in it, and of course you're talking about a guy that's a high level player. We brought him up here to hopefully impact our team, and so it's one of those those stumbling blocks or a little adversity, and he's dealing with it so far. And I really believe that again it gets back to the culture and the players that are here. It's amazing to me that Barford. I don't know if you guys been around him, but he has such a bubbly personality, and you never know if he's kidding or if he's serious. But one thing he does, he reaches out. He has that aura about him, and these kids, they gravitate to him. It's amazing, and I think he's one of those guys that kind of keeping Khalil up, whether he's talking about him or talking with him or laughing with him. Those guys are doing a good job.
You mentioned that Anton had slimmed up. What was the motivation for that, to do that now, or was there some tipping point you felt like you wanted to get his body right for this year?
I think there's some competition going on. Even when you see it last year, Anton, his freshman year started for us. And then of course he had the adversity took place his sophomore year. He came back, and now he was in a different role. And now you got some other guys coming here impacting, and he started some games for us, which I think that's a plus for us, because we got when you lose guys like Moses, Dusty Hannas, and Manuel, who all started for us, but we may have 4 or 5 starters over here because those guys started at some point during the year, and Anton's one of those guys. But his senior year, he made the statement that he wanted this senior year to be his best year, and so I think he wanted to develop and improve. And how do you improve? You get your body right, and I think his mind right. He's like, I always thought he had that quarterback pit bull mentality. So can you imagine that kind of mentality, and a little quicker now, and obviously it's your senior year. Hopefully the leadership and the sense of urgency and taking ownership can take place with him. And he's been here a while. He and Trey are, when you talk about guys that have been on winning teams. Even the 16-16 team, I thought that was a winning team. And I think those guys want to go out the right way. But you look at their history. Those guys won in high school, too. They won a state championship. So this is the next step.
Mike, with Khalil, do you think he's looking at a redshirt year, or could he maybe get cleared, play this year? Just what timetable?
I'm very optimistic that he will be back. That's how I feel. So, but we'll have to see what the doctors say on that. Bob.
When you lose Dusty and that kind of three-point ability, you have to maybe change your reliance on the three ball this year. Well,
Dusty, obviously, with what he did for this year, he made us we were a very good shooting bass. I think it's one of the better shooting teams I've had. You can look at the free throw percentage, shot 76%. That's the best in 55 years. You look at the three-point shooting. He was one of those guys. But how do you replace that? I think we got some guys that are capable of knocking shots down. But more importantly, I think we got some more versatile parts that you can spread that floor. We don't have anybody that will slow us down. We can open up the floor, and now we got guys can really create off the dribble. I think CJ now, he gets a chance to get quite a few of those minutes now. I think you'll see now Daryl, I think Anton, Barford, all those guys are very capable at shooting the basketball. And you'll even see Dustin Thomas step out and shoot the basketball. And truth be told, if I put guys in a drill and we just shoot 3-point shot, one of my better 3-point shooters is Trey Thompson. You wouldn't believe that, but Trey is. But Trey don't get carried away, okay?
Have you gotten kind of a sense for how CJ's maybe improved, like ball handling and defense and stuff like that? Because I know that's stuff you guys wanted him to work on last year.
I think, you know, the having a year this past year, and you know, and he had a chance to sit there and watch quite a bit. And I think that this summer, between this summer and this fall, I think he is no question about it. He's looking the part of the player that we recruited here. Playing with a lot of confidence. I think his confidence is really soared, and he's not that guy. You know, there's some practices. There's a guy in practice that, because of the ball handling, or because you're weak with the ball, or you're timid, they come at you. It's kind of like sharks with blood. They find that guy. Well, CJ used to be that guy. Now he ain't that guy no more. He's fighting back, and that's, to me, is what I'm looking with this team here. Is that you got more guys now that are in that dog mentality. You know what I mean? That's a good thing when you talk about play with that toughness, play with that that I'm not gonna let you just come in here and just debo me, as we call it. That means I'm just going to be power up on you. So we got more guys that got the fight in them, and that's what excites me. If you look at all the teams that I've had or been associated with, you always had toughness. Toughness was at the core. Toughness, and that's all we talked about. Dialed in, next level.
All right, so out of the past 3 years, we all know that you went to 2 NCAA tournaments, and both those times ended with losses to North Carolina. This time, assuming that you guys do get to play them at the Invitational, how excited are you and your guys to get another shot at them?
No, first of all, we're excited to have an opportunity to play in that particular tournament, and I'm not a guy that looks beyond that. I'm looking at, as we obviously practice, getting better each day. I'm a one day at a time kind of guy. But at the same time, as we get to those particular games, it's Oklahoma. That's who's going to be on our mind, and not necessarily. I don't look down the road there, and we just want to continue to become the best team we can become. But it's a great tournament. It's like a Sweet 16 right off the bat. To start the season off, and you learn a whole lot about your team, and I think that's the biggest key. Keep it in perspective.
You said people shouldn't expect Daniel to be the savior just yet. What are your expectations for him?
I just want to come out and just get better at the things that he's capable of doing. What are his strengths right now? His strengths are he can rebound the basketball. He's long to the back. Offensive rebound. He can really run the floor. You throw it on the post, he can make a post move. He's a pretty good passer. I think he's got to get better at the free throw line because he's going to get fouled a lot. I mean, he flies to the rim. He's going to get fouled a lot. I think he got a chance to be a much better rim protector for us. So again, there's some things that he's got to learn how to play. He's got to learn how to play longer, stronger at the basket. I just recall Bobby Porter's. I'll never forget. Bobby was 6'10" coming in. But Bobby, when he shot the ball, he probably shot it like he was 6'8". That had a lot to do with strength. And so this summer was big for Daniel. And right now he's playing with a lot of confidence right now. So, but when I say his pace may be at the same pace that Bobby did. I don't know. But he's not the savior. It's like he ain't gonna come in here and be Bobby Porter's. I don't want him to come in here and be Moses Kings. I want him to come in and be Daniel Gafford. And I think if he just stay dialed in on and continue to bring his strengths to our basketball team, okay, learn about playing at this level. It's a different level. The speed, the quickness, the size. He's finally getting acclimated to playing with guys of his size, guys that are quicker than him. He's getting real good double ups on him. See if he can make some decisions. Okay, he may have to switch out on the guard. Can he keep people in front of him? Can he play without fouling? Because a lot of guys in high school, they play not to foul. Coach said, "Don't you get in foul trouble." Well, you can't do that. Can he? Right now, I know he's in the best shape of his life. I think he is really. Like I said, he's running like a gazelle, like a deer. He just runs, man, all day long until he gets tired. And guess what? He's putting a lot of pressure on Trey Thompson. Why? Trey got to keep up with the big boy. He got to keep up with him. And so that competition that I talked that you got to have on the team, especially you're trying to take it to another level, that's what you got to have.
How's the overall conditioning? It's like, and Thompson's won out in the past. You've had to fight him about weight. Is he pretty good shape? And is there anybody else that's either you're really great shape or ones you're working on?
I think they're, I think Barford is probably in much better shape than he was last year. I think Daryl Macon, I think he's done a good job of putting some strength in the weight room and really it's gotten physically better. I think for the most part overall, I think this team is pretty decent shape. And now they think they're in shape to practice, and yesterday was a typical practice where, they think they're ready for practice, but they're not. We got about halfway through the practice and they hit the wall because they don't understand. The first part of 40 minutes, you don't even touch a ball. That's 40 minutes of hell. The first 40 minutes, you don't even touch a ball. And then, of course, once you get to the other part, you got to push through it. And I thought yesterday they kind of gave into it. So we'll see today how they come out. And but again, it's new to a lot of guys, and it's intense. It's really intense.
Mike, I know you only had 3 practices, but how do you think it's gone? And being down a couple guys right now, does that impact practice, what you want to do and how you can do it?
Well, I think 2 years ago I had to make that adjustment last year, making sure that but those guys are going to play. I think when you look at our roster, all those guys, when I talked about the seniors, the 5 seniors, then you talk about the young guys coming in. What it does is gives them some opportunity to really get some reps in practice. I think that's what it does. Right now you're talking about, if you're talking about 13 scholarship players, you're 2 down right now. And so now you got 12 guys out there. Now I've got to be, I got to have a strategy in terms of how we work out and making sure we get the proper subs in and out of there. We'll make it work. And, one of the things also is happening, when you got 42 days, you practice 30 of those days, you're going to have 2 days off, throughout the week. So there are 2 days off the week that these guys are off. So I don't worry about that. I think we're getting in really good shape.
You mentioned Darius being kind of that glue guy. Is he the guy that's Manny Watkins for you, or is there another guy that can kind of fill that junkyard dog role that you like?
I think he can do that. I think Adriel Bailey can be one of those guys that do a lot of different things. But I think Darius is a tremendous offensive rebounder. If you look at his arm, he probably got like some 6'11" wingspan, and he's really athletic. I think defensively, probably ahead of where he is offensively. But he's one of those guys. I think as you get more and more into practice, a lot of guys early on, they're thinking, but as you get more into practice and now they understand, the things that we're trying to do, they become more instinctive. And that's what you saw with Barford. I thought last year you saw Barford just used to run over people early on in the year and just looked like he was out of control. As a matter of fact, whoever was doing the game, that was what you say. Man, this guy is like a bull in a china shop, just running over people. But then all of a sudden he became instinctive. And we saw that, and we saw it with Daryl Macon. And we'll see more of those guys really playing to that tune, and that's what we want with Darius because he has a lot of ability. Same way with Daniel, and even Gabe. I think since Gabe has gotten here, he's gotten a whole lot better, and because he's getting repetition.
He's kind of alluded to it. When you think about Darius and Daniel and Khalil, can you remember a freshman class with this much excitement, considering these are Arkansas guys who've been committed for a long time?
Well, in recruiting, you always talk about taking it up another level, and I think these guys bring, when you talk about those 6'7", 6'6", and Daniel 6'11", long, lanky, athletic guys that can make plays. It's exciting. It really is exciting because those guys, and I saw it yesterday in practice. In a drill, Darius got beat. He went and blocked one shot, then another guy, and he blocked Daniel Gafford's shot. Daniel was trying to go dunk it. He went and blocked that shot. Then here come another guy trying to come and dunk it, and he blocked it. And I'm talking about all over the floor. When you got some athletic guys, man, they can make up. When they make a mistake, they can make up for doing some other things. And he was in a instinctive mode at that time. So I'm excited about those guys.
Left and right.
Kind of along those same lines, with guys like Darius or Gabe, do you think that gives you maybe the ability to be more creative with some of the lineups? Like you can throw like 4 guard lineups out there, and I mean that worked for you some last year, but with the added length that those guys have, does that help you maybe put kind of wild combinations out there at times?
Well, I get a chance to experiment some, more in terms of, we can be as big as we want to, we can be as small as we want to. I mean, it's like even right now, if I started today, we possibly could have a 3-guard lineup, with those senior guards. That's what it could be. And Trey or Dust, it could be. I don't know. I'm not putting a starting lineup because I don't do that. But who's to say that Daniel, with practice and understanding, he may be in that lineup. But I can go as big as I want to or as small as I want to. And we saw that with Moses and Trey out there on the floor, and Manuel's 6'5", played a lot bigger. So therefore, we're capable of doing that. And I just like the different interchangeable parts. And but when you do go small, one of the concerns you got to have is about rebounding. And so that's been a point of emphasis with this basketball team. Let's not assume somebody's going to get it. We got some guards that should be getting us 5 and 6 rebounds, especially if they're going to be out there those kind of minutes. And then that's what we're looking at with, Daryl Macon, Anton, or Jalen Barford. Those guys got to rebound if they're going to be in those positions. I think CJ will be a great, great rebound. The guy that's ready right now is just clean the glass right now is Adriel Bailey. I mean, he is playing, he's playing fantastic right now. And again, this team here excites me, and I just can't wait to continue to mold them and shape them and hopefully become the team that all Razorback Nation will be proud of.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you.